Good evening to another session of Dialogues That Matter. Hope all of you are well, safe, and able to stay positive in these testing times. We have with us today another speaker, another stellar speaker who's doing great work in his own field. Before I introduce him, let me introduce you to the series, which is Dialogues That Matter, a series where we speak to change makers who are doing stellar work, prolific work in their own fields, either they're individuals, organizations, or so on and so forth. Without any further ado, let me introduce our speaker for today. And I need to look up the list so that I don't miss out on all his accolades. So Dr. Saji Varghese is an associate professor at the Department of English at Christ University. Apart from that, he's a board member of the incubation cell at Christ University. He holds a PhD in English from Nagpur University. He has a keen interest in grassroots innovation and entrepreneurship. And that has what has led him to have not one, not two, not three, but 9 patents. And we are only going to be talking about one of these patents today, guys. Apart from that, the one patent and the one innovation of his that we are talking about will be the biodegradable straw, which is under the Sunbird Straws umbrella. And also the work that he does is keen on trying to have employment for women in the coastal region. Thank you so much, Dr. Saji Varghese. It's almost an honor, a pleasure to have you. Thank you for giving us and sparing some time for us.
Yeah, good evening, Shruti, and thanks for having me here. It's my privilege to be on Dialogue Space and sharing my experiences and my story with all of you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for joining us. And I think let's just get to it. Guys, so the interview today is going to be twofold, and we're going to be talking to two distinct speakers on the topic of Plastic Free July. You'll find out why Dr. Saji Varghese is here with us to talk about Plastic Free July. So why don't you talk to us about the infamous or famous walk at Christ, which is what led you to this whole innovation?
Yeah. So I'll start with that.
Right.
It's all about a wonderful story that started on 3rd of October 2017, to be precise.
Wow,
I remember the date because it's significant.
Okay.
And I was having a morning walk, and just a day before, a gentleman had come from Netherlands, and we got talking about the scourge of plastic polluting our oceans, so on and so forth.
Okay.
And then the next morning, while I was walking in the campus, we have lots of coconut trees, thankfully.
Right.
And my eyes fell on a fallen coconut leaf, and one of the naturally dried one, and one of the leaflets was pointing upwards, curled like a straw because it had dried.
Okay.
It had curled up, and then
Right.
it was like a moment of insight, and I felt I found a great answer.
Right.
And then I went back to my cabin and I got a pair of scissors. I
Right.
cut quite a few of those dry leaflets and took it to my apartment.
Right.
Started my experiments, and over a week's time, the best thing happened when I was trying to steam it like you steam idlis in a pressure cooker.
Right.
And then its own wax started coming on the surface, and it gave a very nice shine to it. And
Right.
that's when I found it has all the qualities of a straw, and that's how it started.
Right. If only all of us could see like you, right? Like look at a leaf and say, maybe this is an idea for a straw.
Yes.
But I guess that's just vision and knowledge that comes together, and that's what has come through. So talk to us about Sunbird Straws. What is it that you have made? What led you to make this product? Talk to us about how it's an alternate to, the plastic straws out there.
Correct. So, I'll have to continue where I stopped.
Right.
After I used to make single layered straw, as I told you, the shiny surface on the top just for its aesthetic look, but the inner under surface of it would not have that much of a wax.
Right.
And it was a single layered straw. I was using a food grade glue along the margin,
Right.
but it had its own deficiencies, and
Sure.
I wanted to come up with a very good product.
Right.
So I worked on it for another 2 years,
Right.
and that's when we made this final straw, which you see and which we now proudly, sell it all around as Sunbird straws. It's a multi-layered straw, and now in this new design of the straw, both the outer and the inner wall of the straw is having that antifungal layer, and it has its hydrophobic quality.
Okay.
So it worked very efficiently, and then. There was one small video made by the media department of our university about my invention, and thankfully that went across to a few places, and I started getting inquiries from different countries for this product.
Right.
And then I started sending it out, and then A few other facts about the straw was that from one dry coconut leaf, you can make up to 150 to 200 straws.
Right.
And two of our students, one is Sandeep, and one more boy named Chirag. They are now with us in the company. So he went and did a survey of 15 villages of Karnataka, took a survey of the farmers, and we identified 5 lakh coconut trees, and we asked what they do to these dried leaves.
Right.
So they burn it. They simply burn after taking the midrib for the broomstick. They
Right.
burn all these leaves, and they can be converted into straws.
Right.
So that's when we started focusing on. We started 2 centers, one in Kasaragod and one in Madurai. We employed 4 women each.
Okay.
And at that time, we didn't have the machines to produce these straws. So it was pretty slow, but we were sending out these straws. They were making around 150 to 200 straws per day.
Okay.
We were sending it out to different countries, right from the US to many European countries and the Middle East. And we started getting a very good response.
Right.
That's when, for the last 1 year, we decided to focus on technology, which can help in a better production output. Right. And thankfully now we have developed 4 machines in-house.
Wow.
All of them are patented. This product is also patented and it is published under PCT. Right. So the design of the straw and the machines, they are patented and protected in 151 countries. Wow. And we see this as a huge opportunity. Right. Where we can employ women in the rural areas. So the whole concept is we give out these machines in rural areas to women self-help groups or even to individual farmers who want to start it. And that is how we get the straws made out by them under very strict hygiene protocols.
Right.
And now it has come to a pass where we have orders close to 20 million straws per month from across the globe. So the whole challenge is about how we scale it up.
Right, right. I think this is a true definition of made in India if we talk about it, right? Right from the machine that is being used, which you're saying is your own patent, to the product, plus the skill and the labor that's going into it. I think this is just a lot of inspiration for a lot of people out there. So thank you so much. And I think we're all grateful for that one day where you took that stroll down Christ University.
Yes, exactly.
And if I'm not wrong, right, definitely.
Yeah.
So as I'm given to understand, there are twofold that this straw kind of handles twofold of problems. One, like you mentioned, is the coconut leaves, and of course, it's an alternate to plastic. And we all know that even though plastic is cheap and very easily affordable and easily available, it's harmful to the planet and in the long run. Could you talk to us a little bit about how the straw tackles these twofold problems? And of course, it also, like you said, provides employment to women in the coastal regions or even the self-help groups and things like that.
Yeah, I mean, we are very excited because, and we're very happy because it actually is, solving 3 problems. One is the problem of burning coconut leaves in the farms. That is huge carbon emissions.
Right.
So that gets prevented, and they get converted into, a product of value, which gives incomes to the, and we are focusing on women employment. So it gives a lot of income generating opportunities to the women in the villages. Right. And third, obviously, is that it is going to replace plastic straws. So it's actually a three-pronged benefit that we get from a small innovation. And at the same time, I want to tell you that a lot of youth are also getting benefited. In fact, all the logistics and a lot of technology is attracting a lot of youngsters right from commerce and the business graduates who are now contacting us, and they want to be a part of this entire system. So it's a lot of young people also are going to find meaningful responsibilities in this whole ecosystem of just a straw, but then it's having multiple dimensions. Yes.
Right. I think it's really exciting to see the whole innovation in itself. And like we actually put out, and again, something I would like to bring up is that a straw, which is just a small product, how something as small as that can be very impactful when it comes to change, right?
Exactly.
So one straw at a time, we are kind of building towards a better planet.
Exactly.
So could you talk to us a little bit about that, and also talk to us specifically about the product? We had a lot of questions coming in asking us about, the product in specific. Is it reusable? Can I carry it around? And all those questions.
Sure. So about the product, I would like to tell you that, we, as I told you, after the single lead straw was made, this is exactly a few things I mean, I don't know who our listeners are, but we can actually create a product of great value emphasize a lot on its quality, on its aesthetics, and its efficiency, because we want to pitch a global product, and it has to be respected globally. Otherwise, our usual tendency, you made something, so we have this very common habit of calling something a jugaad. So anything from rural India has to be crude, and it just has to work. But that's not how I am trying to see it. And that is why I spent almost 3,000 hours even after the first straw was made, because it was good enough and it was well received. But I was focusing on quite a few aspects. One was that, anyway, though it is agri waste, we were still having to collect it from different areas and bringing it to our place. And then when we were making the single edge straw, we were ending up wasting 40% of the leaves that were brought. That was one issue. The second issue was that the product in itself had some deficiencies. For example, because it was single edge, inside there would be fungal issues over a long period of time. That's why we put 3,000 hours, perfecting the straw. Now what we have is a design where we end up using 90% of the leaves, so only 10% gets wasted. That's one thing. The second is that in terms of its efficiency, those who are interested, it has an antifungal layer, as I mentioned, and it also is water resistant. So at any point of time, it is the best biodegradable alternative available now. If you can compare it with hay straws, or you compare it with rice starch or tapioca starch straws, or even the bamboo straws, for one reason, that it is both efficient and it is cost effective. Just because it is an organic straw or a biodegradable, we are not trying to just price it, exaggerating the price point. We are trying to be very competitive in the market. Second thing is, it can stay in a beverage for more than 6 hours, compared to the paper straws, which get soggy in 10 to 15 minutes. It can stay in a beverage for more than 6 hours, and it has a shelf life of 9 months. And in fact, we carried out a proper chemical validation at the Central Plantation Research Institute in Kasaragod for 5 months. And again, our students from MSc did the entire chemical validation. And we found out that even if there is some exudate coming into the beverage, it is all antioxidants. It is actually good for your health. So, and the paper is published in an international journal. So in terms of the efficiency, this is it. And second thing you asked about, if you're carrying it yourself, it is of course a multiple use straw, but we are not positioning it as a multiple use product, simply because of the new and the COVID situation, and we don't want to create unnecessary confusion about, or it can be used in there's business houses. We don't want, so that is why we have positioned it as a single use straw only, and it's okay because it is priced competitively alongside the paper straws. Yeah, that's
and
about the
it is
product.
Of course biodegradable, right?
It is I mean, there's nothing done to it. Actually, it is a 3-stage cleaning process, and then it's simply steaming. And between the two layers, we use a food grade glue, which we import from the US. It is a US certified direct food contact glue, which is used for paper straws, and it works for our straws also. But unlike the paper straws, the glue which we apply is sandwiched between the two layers, so it actually doesn't get in contact with the beverages. Even if it does, it is safe because it is a direct food contact, US FDA certified.
Got it.
Yeah.
Got it. I think as someone who's a huge believer of sustainability, it's very nice to see that something like coconut leaves, which would otherwise go into waste and burn and have a lot of emissions, which would cause harm. It's nice to see that something like that can come to so much use and so innovatively. I think we need more such innovations, and it's nice to see that there are some people at least thinking in this direction. Because years ago, if you go back, I'm sure it wasn't a very common thing that a lot of people do. So that's one thing. Could you talk to us a little bit about, break it down? Of course, don't give us the trade secrets, but break it down and tell us what are the different processes and how from a leaf it kind of comes to become a straw.
No, I mean, I can be very open about it. I mean, it's a patented process and product. I mean, so we have a 3-tiered production system. And that is the beauty of it. And I think even during the COVID times, we had been working on the entire process. And I'm very happy to tell you that this 3-tiered production system is one which can provide a lot of employment. So in the first stage, you just have to remove the midrib from the leaflets, and then you have to wash it, clean it in a 3-stage process. As I told you, we want to have a very strict hygiene protocol. So there's a 3-stage cleaning process and a wiping process, followed by which it just gets pressure steamed. And then you just, that's the only manual work where, you have to stick it end to end. So it becomes like a long ribbon, and then it gets wound in a spool, in a sort of a reel. So this is a work which can be carried out in the tier one, that is the smaller pockets of households. Let's say an elderly woman who doesn't want to go out for a regular 8-hour job, they can sit together and carry on these tasks and add small incomes to their households. This is the first stage where the spools get made, and then this is brought to our production unit. That's where the straw rolling happens. So the leaf, we have made a very beautiful wit cutting and a scraping machine. So the spools are then fed endlessly into this entire system, and it gets wit cut, and the underside of it gets scraped. Because if you know the coconut leaf, the underside of it can have a lot of dirt and all. So the entire thing is scraped away. So it's absolutely hygienic. And then we have this two-stage rolling process. As I told you, it's a multi-layered straw. So the inner layer is spirally rolled, the outer layer is long rolled, so that it gets very steady, and it is flexible, and at the same time it doesn't break away. You can actually press the entire straw and it still wouldn't break. So these are the major stages. Then we have so every time you make a straw, it's actually a 3-length straw. Then it gets cut into 3 straws. That is how we have enhanced the production capacity. Then we have a final UV sterilization and a hands-free packaging. So that's where that happens at the regional centers. So the final quality check, UV sterilization and packaging, because even I'm happy to tell you that Starbucks in Malaysia have accepted our straws. Then Oberoi Hotels and Oberoi Hotels and JW Marriott, Grand Hyatt, and quite a few 5-star hotels have asked for our straws, and they want to be individually packed. So we are very, very conscious about both the quality and the way it is handled.
Right. I think that's a good segue to the question I did have as a follow-up, which is how is it being received in the audience as an alternate to the other kinds of straws that are available, whether it's paper, plastic, or even steel straw for that matter of fact. How is it being received? Are you positioning it a certain way? Are people open to this change?
Right. So as I told you, during the second year, I mean in 2018, particularly during 2018, we were sending out these samples to all these countries. We happened to send it to 11 countries, and we do have written feedbacks from all these places. We have photographs of people using it in restaurants, and they're very happy with this product. Because paper straws, the feel of cellulose is very irksome to some of them, and this straw has a very organic feel. And even it has a slight aroma, but we never had any negative feedback, not a single negative feedback about the straw. And soon we started getting an overwhelming level of orders. So now, for example, 3 big companies in the UAE are vying for an exclusive distributorship for the product. And they have asked for 20 million, and they are ready to sign a contract saying they want 20 million straws per month. Similarly, Malaysia wants containers every month. US wants containers every month, and last week, coincidentally, we had inquiries from all the Nordic countries, right from Denmark, Sweden, Norway, Finland. So we do have, and Australia and New Zealand, particularly after the COVID happened. Now we are actually there's a flurry of inquiry for this product. So it's very well received. It's only that we are dragging our feet a bit in terms of scaling up our production.
Right. Yeah. I completely understand. I think all the countries that you mentioned are all countries that are kind of in the forefront when it comes to sustainability and talking and kind of taking a stand when it comes to such choices.
Sure.
Just picking your brain, do you think, I mean, why are we kind of lagging behind when it comes to implementing? Because clearly we have an idea, we have someone who's producing it in our own country, but why are we still a little slow to kind of adapt to this change?
No, I mean, we are not to blame. I wouldn't say that because as I told you, though we have all these machines, it is still labor intensive. And secondly, when I started this as a faculty at the university, when I had this whole idea of starting a social entrepreneurship, I wanted it to be a very transparent and equity-based social enterprise. So though the machines are there, it is still labor intensive, and we want to give a good remuneration to the people. And that is where the price point becomes a problem. So we are all used to the 15 paisa to 35 paisa plastic straw. We are used to the 70 paisa to 1 rupee 50 paisa paper straw. So the change is not going to be easy. So I wouldn't blame that. And moreover, it has to be viable for the smaller businesses. For example, a small juice shop, they cannot afford. We have positioned it I mean, correctly positioned it between 2 rupees, 3 rupees 50 paisa per straw, which is not affordable for small businesses. But thankfully, all, now major resorts in India, now I think we have all inquiries from almost 8 to 9 major resorts and 5-star hotels who have asked for our straws. I think the transition will happen, and at the same time, we are also trying to see how we can increase our productivity and work more on volumes and reduce the margins so that it is reachable to the Indian market as well. Yeah. So not that we are not, I mean, we are open to, yeah, go ahead.
Of course. I think that puts things into perspective. Like you said, it's one step at a time. Slowly, I think we will get there. So of course, this is part of. I mean, what you're doing is definitely a big shift, and will help change perspectives and the way people look at businesses. What I wanted to know from you is, in terms of the larger movement of climate change, of the use of plastic, where do you think this comes into place? Or in general, what are your views about plastic that's being used so excessively, even though it's a little harmful for the environment?
Correct. Yeah, I think we have to accept the fact that it is very difficult to replace plastic overnight. I always keep thinking about this. What do we do about all the milk sachets? What do we do with all the oil that gets packed? It's a huge problem, and you cannot replace it overnight. And sometimes I feel we are only touching the fringe of the problem when we are just trying to replace plastic straws, because there are a huge bunch of plastic problem that needs to be addressed. But I think we need to address it now. It's already too late, I guess. The ship has moved pretty too far, and if you don't take corrective measures now, things already are pretty dangerous. I wouldn't say that it can get dangerous. It is already dangerous, but I think these are small initiatives from each of us as individuals, which will bring about the change. But we need to do that.
Yeah, right. I think that makes a lot of sense. Now I need to ask. We did mention this in the introduction. So, what are these 9 patents that you have? Of course, not in detail, but if you could just give us an insight into what are these 9 patents.
So what I have done, Shruti, is that this problem identification and the problem solving I've taken it as my hobby. So let's say, in fact, one of my first innovations is a coconut opening. We do. I don't know if you have ever been to Kerala. The green husk needs to be removed, right? Yes. Dehusking. So you have seen typically people hitting it on the. I don't know what you call it, the dehusking machine. You hit the coconut onto it and then you pull a lever. I was wondering, what if a 10-year-old girl wants to dehusk a coconut? So I made a small tabletop coconut husking device, which is very successful actually. Yeah, that's one of our products. And even, a simple problem, like I had a long time back when I was in Maharashtra, I was posted on an election duty, and it was in a small village and there was no power, there was no electricity. And we had to tape a few of those envelopes, and we were using a sellotape, and we couldn't locate the end of the. We all struggle, right? When you are celebrating birthdays and you want to stick "Happy Birthday" on the walls, it's very difficult to locate the distal end of the sellotape. So, I would think for it for a few days and come up with a very simple, a 2 paisa this tape dispenser and locator, things like that. Then I made a power operated ceiling fan cleaner. So whatever comes, there are things like that, a double wall flowering pot, so that, self watering pot, things like that. So yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So what is the next problem that you're eyeing? We have to ask, because I'm sure then there's another solution coming.
Shruti, I'm very happy to tell you that I work at the incubation cell of Chrysonecity, and already in the segment of biodegradable, I'm coming up with a dishwashing scrubber made from the mesh of the coconut leaves. If you have seen, this is not the husk of the coconut. We are already making a lot of things from the husk, ropes and even scrubbers. But I look at things which are actually getting discarded now. So I don't know if any of you have noticed carefully, every coconut leaf which comes out comes with a mesh kind of a sheath along the trunk. It's like a net, a mesh kind of a thing, which is simply burned. So I have made beautiful dishwashing scrubbers out of it, which is equivalent to the Scotch-Brite dishwashing scrubbers, and it has very high oil absorbing capacity. So even if it's a very oily plate, you just use that, and even without a dishwashing liquid, it takes off all the oil. And when you put that mesh, the dishwashing scrubber under tap water, it drains off all the oil. So it's fresh again. You can use it for a month. So when I
Okay.
showed it to some of my friends,
Okay.
they just poo-pooed it and said it doesn't work. Then I told them that I got orders for 3,000 of these scrubbers for the US this month, and the German company has shown
Right.
interest in that product. So we need to value such products. We have to believe, we have to look inwards and
Right.
believe the resources that our country has. But other than that, just to very quickly add, our team of students and I, we are trying to build India's first vending device for roasted peanut vendors. Roasted peanut vendors, those who sell on the carts, roasting the peanuts in salt. Have you
Yeah.
seen?
Yeah.
I mean, we all have seen that.
Yeah.
So we are trying to build. We
Right.
have already built the
Right.
machine.
Yes. 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 Yeah.
So because this boy was
Okay.
always used to be outside the Christ University campus selling these roasted peanuts and selling it in cones, right, paper cones, and
Right.
you keep munching it. So I used to buy,
Right.
and
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
then
Right.
I
Right.
gave it as a task to our commerce students as an English CIA, because I teach English at Christ. Do a business model for Rohit so that he can multiply his income. And I was
Right.
also teaching at Christ University Engineering College. So I was design thinking to the engineering students. So we all came together and we are going to create India's first vending machine for
Okay.
roasted peanuts. So like, let's say this boy named Rohit
Wow.
sells
Okay.
peanuts outside the campus. His beautiful looking vending machines,
Right.
and we have called this Go Nuts. We have trademarked it. So these machines will be
Yes.
inside the campuses or
Okay.
in multiplexes. And then if you do a Paytm, and Rohit is the owner of these vending machines. While he's outside,
Right.
and he comes and refills these vending machines. And when you do a Paytm of 30 rupees, 3 cones will pop out, and it will be
Got it.
warm also. So while he's at one place, his
Got it.
business will happen at four places. So instead of earning
Right.
600 rupees, he will
Right.
earn 2,400 startup taking care of the technology, logistics, product standardization. They will own this whole startup, and they'll get a 30% cut.
Right.
But Rohit will be happy to earn 2,000 instead of 600 per day. So this is where we can
Right.
tackle problems of urban poor. I mean, we all saw the misery of the migrant workers during the COVID times. This is how we can do. And
Right.
also we are trying to brand the roadside tea vendors. I've seen many of these people walking with flasks near bus stands, and when you ask for a tea,
Right.
they will either keep it on the footpath, press it, and give the chai to you. So we are actually
Right.
branding this roadside tea vendors, and we are trying to
Okay.
standardize the product. So there are so many of these innovations that so what we run this platform at Christ called ICLI, Initiative in Creative Learning for Impact. So it should actually be
Okay.
meaningful to the communities. These are some of the new
Correct.
things, exciting things that are happening.
Right. I think next time I have a problem, I'm going to call Dr. Sajib Verghese so
I'll be
that
happy.
this is the problem. Please create a solution for it.
No, I
Kind
mean,
of a thing.
students
No, but
come.
jokes apart.
Yeah. I mean,
Right.
students
Right. Go
come with
ahead.
great
Sorry.
ideas. That's what I believe. That when
Right.
we have beautiful,
Right.
meetings and we brainstorm, and students come with beautiful ideas. Yeah.
Right.
Go ahead, Priti.
I think, but jokes apart, how does one get in touch with you? Whether it's for a collaboration or to just talk to you, what's the process like? How does one get in
I'm
touch
just
with
a
you?
phone call away, so you can take my number. So
Sure,
whenever
we'll
I
drop
but
your phone
sometimes,
number.
yeah, you can share the phone number.
Yes.
I'm okay.
Okay, great. I think one final question before we wind up, unfortunately, we'll have to wind
Okay.
up, of course, we're living in tough times and, these are unprecedented times. What are you doing to kind of keep yourself positive? And what's the future of Sunbird straws and all the patents that you have coming up? It seems very bright.
Sure. In this COVID times, of course, staying indoors for a long time has been very stressful, and we've seen
Right.
sometimes, brain frozen and all. But thankfully, our
Right.
fabrication center is very close to our place, and it's at a lonely place, so we could continue doing our work. And secondly,
Okay.
I see it as a huge opportunity as well. Of course, we are sad about all the distress that
Right.
is being caused, but it's a huge opportunity with the kind of
Right.
overwhelming inquiries that we are getting. So our aim is to
Right.
touch. We have this ambition of touching not 10 million straws in the next 6 months. We have come up with that ambitious plan. We are a little over ambitious, and then some government agencies, some good these corporate companies have all approached us saying they're ready to support us and fund us to start production centers at many places. So some even NABARD has offered to support us. So I'm very upbeat
Okay.
about this whole process of scaling up. And there is also a plan by with a very prestigious university to create a Guinness record as the longest straw in the world, organic straw, just to create
Wow. Okay.
visibility. So quite a few exciting things,
Okay.
on the plate. So I think we are upbeat
I think
anyway.
we can only wish you luck, and we hope that we see all of this come into fruition. Let me just check if there are any questions that we have that have come in. And yes, I'm just checking. Hold on. I don't think we do. I think we're going to expect some innovation that will help our lives at home now. I think that's what you're looking at, since we're all stuck at home. I'm looking forward to see what kind of a change you're going to come up with next time. Definitely, we're all going to keep tabs.
Sure, Shruti.
I am unable to see if there are any questions. I don't think we do. I think that brings us to the end of this. Any parting comments, any last thoughts with respect to maybe Plastic Free July or this conversation, or any piece of advice you'd like to give us?
No, I mean, keep the good work going all around. Whenever if you have if you think you have a good idea, try it. Don't worry about the success
Right.
or failure of it. You just have to try
Right.
it, and let good things keep happening.
Right.
All the best to all the young people out there.
Right.
Thanks very much.
Right. Thank you. Thank you so much. I
Thank you.
think
A
if we
pleasure
have
being
people
here.
like you who are there to support us, I think every idea is not far away from becoming, a reality.
Yeah.
So thank you. Thank you so much. We look forward to all the innovations that will come forth from you. Thank you for giving us your time, and thank you for tuning in. Thank you, guys. We have a second speaker today. We will be talking about sustainable menstruation. Once again, thank you, Dr. Saji Varghese. Thank you for giving
Thank you,
us your
Shruti.
time.
Have a great time.
We'd love to be in touch with you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
My privilege
Thank
to be
you
here.
to
Bye.
you
Thank
too.
you. Thank you.
Likewise. Bye.
Yeah. Thank you.